It was late and I was still reading in my chair because I was trying to get the memory of what happened earlier out of my head. "Sayhara-chan," Kokichi said, hugging me from behind. What? Kokichi? I asked in surprise, stuttering and blushing. "I love you," he said, nuzzling into my back. I could feel the warmth from his body and the heat from my face. I felt like my heart was about to explode. He was just so cute and acted like a little kid. He nuzzled into my back as far as he could go and hugged me tightly. Too flustered to answer, I walked away from him a little quickly, leaving him confused and standing there alone. Maybe I should go to bed. Thinking about this is just distracting me, I asked myself before shrugging and continuing to read. I just wanted to finish one more chapter. This was a good book about detectives and crime. I love to read, sometimes a little too much, so much that I lose track of time. Eventually I dozed off and fell asleep in the arms of my chair, wishing it was Kokichi before sleeping off. We tried to find out what was wrong with him. He seems to be showing his true feelings with no sense of embarrassment, so the spell you must have set on him to punish him must have given him more courage to do things around Shuichi, I heard them say from outside the examining room. Why did Himiko have to do this to him? I was just minding my own business when Himiko got mad at something I said or whatever. To punish me, she cast a spell on me, and it's making me act on anything I think of around Shuichi, no matter how embarrassing it is. The effect makes me forget what I'm doing around Shuichi, and I remember what happened shortly after the incident occurs. Ugh, Himiko said, coming back into the examination room. "So, what's going on with me?" I said, folding my arms, frowning. "You have a boost of courage around Shuichi," she paused, "and it'll last about a week. So, I'm trapped doing what my mind tells me to do around Shuichi for about a week. I can't believe this will last for a week. Shuichi's gonna find out about my feelings towards him. This is literally the worst." I put my head in my hands and groaned. Why does this always happen to me? "Yeah, that's what it looks like." "Ugh!" I paused. "I hate you right now and you know that, right?" "Yeah, but it's not like you ever liked me before." "That's true." A week later, Saihara noticed that he hadn't seen Kokichi that much. He hadn't seen him except for meal times. Even then, Kokichi would just leave right after getting his food. He was more than just concerned about him, he was full-blown worried. The guy that makes him feel a certain way just started to avoid him. Maybe it's a lost cause. "Saihara-chan!" He could see Kokichi from the other side of the dining hall. He waved at him with a smile on his face. Shuichi walked over to him, only to be trampled. Kokichi smothered him in kisses and hugged him tightly, knocking him over in the process. "Kokichi?" Shuichi asked, only to be silenced by a passionate kiss from Kokichi. The kiss didn't last long, but it lasted long enough for Shuichi to become flustered and for people to start talking. Shuichi felt his face burning from embarrassment. Kokichi just kept clinging on to Shuichi while hugging him. Kokichi just laid on top of Shuichi, holding him like he was the only other person in the room. Shuichi was just laying there, very flustered and very confused. I slowly got up, holding Kokichi close to me. Rantaro walked over to me and he whispered, trying not to alert Kokichi that another person was nearby. "Hey, Kokichi is under a spell and he doesn't have control of his actions around you." Just then, it all clicked. "I can't believe," I started. "This explains the random affection from him. Not that I'm complaining. What? No, I can't just use him like this. This must be very hard for him. At least he could have told me what was going on." "Why wouldn't he tell me?" I asked Rantaro. "I don't know if you know, but he seems like he likes you." He paused. "I mean, by the way he's hugging me right now and the way he kissed you earlier, I'll let you figure it out, Mr. Detective." He patted me on the shoulder while I stood there dumbstruck. Kokichi likes me. At least, I think he does. There's no way. How could he like me of all people? Why did he not tell me? I'm just so confused. I was lost in thought before I heard small snores from the boy under me. I looked down and noticed he had fallen asleep. I sighed and smiled at him. I picked him up like he was a toddler and walked him back to my room. He was surprisingly light. It made me feel a little concerned about his health, but I can ask him about that later. When I got to my room with Kokichi, I pulled my dorm key out of my pocket. Unlocking the door, I walked over to my bed. I closed the door behind us with my foot and walked over to lay him on my bed so he could rest. I went to sit in my chair and read for the rest of the day. I got up to put my book away only to find Kokichi was sitting up on my bed looking over at me. "Kokichi?" I asked Kokichi as he got off the bed and started to walk over me. "Sahara-chan?" he said with a yawn. He rubbed his eyes and pushed me onto the chair before getting into my lap. He closed his eyes before he collapsed onto my chest and fell asleep. I sighed and rubbed circles onto his back. "Kokichi, I'm sorry this happened to you, but I'm glad it was me," I said, stroking his hair. Kokichi nuzzled into my chest and mumbled something I couldn't quite hear. I tried to think of what he could have said, but I was tired from all the events of today. I put my arms around Kokichi and pulled him closer to me unconsciously before falling asleep. I woke up in Suichi's arms. I blushed to know that whatever happened yesterday was only because of the spell. I could think clearly around Suichi, so the spell must be over. I tried to get up only to be pulled closer to Suichi. My face got even redder. "Sahara-chan, I have to go. I'm sorry for the trouble I caused," I said, trying yet again to get out of his grasp. He hugged me closer and mumbled something as he slowly woke up. I looked at his face, worried about what he would say when he woke up. He must be furious that someone like me was all over him yesterday. I started to panic as his eyes met mine. "I'm sorry, Sahara-chan," I said immediately, averting my eyes from his gaze. "Oma-kun, you're awake." "Here it comes," I thought as he said this. To my surprise, he put his hand in my hair and started stroking it. I looked at him confused. "I thought you'd be mad at me because he cut me off by hugging me." "What?" I started. "Hey, it's fine. It wasn't your fault. It was because of Himiko's spell after all." He paused. "And it's okay because I like you too," he said in a whisper. All he did is nuzzle into my chest and whisper, "Me too." I continued to pet his hair as I started to get nervous. I think he noticed when my hands started shaking. "Are you okay, Sahara-chan?" he mumbled into my chest. Well, I was just..." My hands started to shake more. "This is getting to my head. Will he get mad at me? Is this a lie to confuse me?" "Sahara-chan, it's okay, I love you too. And that is not a lie," he said, pulling away and holding my face so I would look at him. All I could do was nod. I don't even trust my voice to say the right thing. Kokichi didn't say anything, I started to get flustered and unconsciously pulled my hat over my eyes to be met with Kokichi's hand. He lifted my hat and my lips met his. Sahara-chan's lips are really soft. I really do like him a lot. Maybe even love. Actually, I love him so damn much. "Hey, it's okay, I like to see your eyes, you know," I said with a smirk. He just took off his hat and hugged me. Could we maybe be more than friends?" he stuttered, holding me tight. "Of course I'll be your boyfriend, Sahara-chan. It'd be an honor." "Me?" he said, getting off the chair with a smirk. "Well, since we got this cleared up, you probably want to go to sleep, so I'll go to my dorm." I was cut off from Suichi's hands being wrapped around me. "Stay with me," he said in a whisper. "Of course," I said with a small smile and a blush creeping onto my face. I walked over to grab the blanket on the couch and put it on the floor beside the bed. I sat down on the blanket and soon laid down on my side. "Night, Sahara-chan," I said, closing my eyes. Suichi walked over to Kokichi, still flustered from before. He mustered up enough courage to pick Oma up and put him on the bed. Jeez, I'm gonna read. Let's start. Okay. Suichi walked over to Kokichi, still flustered from before. He mustered up enough courage to pick Oma up and put him on the bed. Suichi wrapped his arms around Kokichi and whispered, "I want you to stay here." Kokichi flushed at this, confused. He smiled, thinking, how could he get any cuter? He turned so he was facing him and snuggled into his chest. "I'll stay with you forever."